everyone. Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of the Southern Business Network. I'm your host, Eric Fowler, and in case you've been sleeping under a rock, the Southern Business Network is East Alabama's premier show highlighting civic and social organizations and small businesses in our community. And I have the pleasure of having beauty in my midst. Right here on the Southern Business Network, we have individuals and representatives of the Susan E. Allen Health Center, which is ironically located right here at 1502 11th Avenue, right here in Phoenix City. So I'd like to first introduce to you our panel of guests. We've got the Corporate Operations Officer, Mrs. Rhonda Lipscomb. Welcome to the show. We also have Ms. Shaftel Benson, Community Outreach Officer for the organization, Dr. Kendra Petit, who is a dentist. And then last but certainly not least, we have Ms. Geralda James McGuega. Did I get that right? That is correct. Fantastic. We've got a nurse practitioner in our midst. Ladies, welcome to the Southern Business Network. We are so happy to have you here with us this evening. So as we get into what Susan E. Allen Health Services is all about, Dr. Lipscomb, Mrs. Lipscomb, please kind of give me a little historical perspective about your operations.
All right. Quality of Life Health Services is our parent company, and we originated out of Gadsden, Alabama 41 years ago. Okay. We started out with one location. A group of individuals got together there in Gadsden, led by Dr. Roberta O. Watts. In the area, and they got together, put together a grant, submitted it, and was funded for the very first location in Gadsden. And from there, 41 years later, we have 24 locations across the state of Alabama, and we are considered one of the largest community health centers in the state of Alabama.
Awesome. Now, when we use that terminology, community health.
Yes, sir.
How is that differentiating between what some might consider, I guess, a franchise or a network of health operations? How do you differentiate yourselves from, I guess, your competition in the industry?
We look at, when we come into a community, we look at what's going on in an area. Is healthcare lacking in a particular region of the state? And so we just come in and provide care where we can come and provide care such as family practice and dentistry and behavioral health and vision care and things of that nature. And so when you look at your private offices, you normally do not see all those services in one location.
I see. Okay. So that's a great way to kind of segue into the fact that you're really a one-stop shop, yes, if you will, of healthcare services. Mm-hmm. Is that the best way to consider your services? Fantastic. Ms. Benson, you're the Community Outreach Officer in this operation, and as it relates to what your overall scope of responsibility is with Susan E. Allen, please kind of explain to us what you do.
Well, I'm responsible for making sure that our communities are aware that we're there and the services that we offer. We came into Phoenix City in 2015. We are partnered with the Phoenix City Housing Authority. Ms. Mary May Rose, the director, very gracious and extended a invitation for us to operate within the Frederick Douglass housing community. Okay. So we are working to make sure that not just Phoenix City, but Russell County and other surrounding counties are aware that we're there and the services that we offer are available to them.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's good news. And then we've got, as it relates to the importance of individuals understanding medical home. That terminology resonates with me. Mrs. McGuega, how do we kind of emphasize on that importance? Why is it so important as it relates to healthcare?
Excuse me. When you think of a home, you think of someplace caring. People together, working together, come together as one for one purpose, happiness. When it comes to our medical home, we're there to help the community to become whole. We screen things. We see people who have a regular care provider seem to go to the ER less. If they have a regular doctor who can screen them, get things at the beginning, work with them, change their way, their chain of thought and things that they do, they have better outcomes. I'll use one patient as an example, a young lady, about 25. She came in, she had a lot of swelling. She doesn't go to the doctor. She's been to every ER and urgent care. And I said, something's not right. I did some labs on her. She was in kidney failure. She had lupus. She didn't have a clue she had lupus. And her kidneys were shut down. She went to the doctor and she was in the hospital for 3 weeks and started dialysis. And if she had not come to us and we did all these tests and so forth, she wouldn't have known, and she would have went home and probably passed away, and no one would have known what was going on.
The preventative care is so necessary in terms of what you all do.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, as it relates to patients' expectations, when we talk about the area of wellness, how does that all apply to Susan E. Allen?
Susan E. Allen, we come into the community. We are part of the community. We're not just there just for funding and money. We're there, we're part of the community. We let them know that this is not just some place to just come and sit down. We're there to listen to you. We're there mind, body, and spirit. If you have mental health, if you have anything wrong with your foot, we have podiatry. We have all the services that you can have, but we have it in a way of people who are underserved and who don't have insurance can still get quality health care even though they don't have the funds for it.
So when we talk about underserved, is that a household salary bracket? Is that a gender? Does that have an ethnic background? You know, when we talk about that, underserved societies, what number or what kind of demographic are we really kind of referring to in its finite form, if you will?
Well, when we come into the communities that we serve, usually people, if I can be wrong, they live under the poverty line. And not to say that they're lazy or anything, some of these people work 2 jobs. They just don't have health insurance. And if you don't have health insurance, you're going to go to the ER. You're not going to get that prescription filled because you don't have a doctor to go and get that. So your blood pressure medicines will be your last thought until you've gone to the hospital and you've had a stroke or something. So that word, I don't like that word. It's just people who don't have as much as some others, and they seem to get lost in the sauce.
Correct. Correct.
If you don't have health insurance, you're lazy, you don't get off on your bootstrap, but there's just some people who just can't afford health insurance and they work very hard. So I like to take that stigma. That's one thing when it comes to me, when I see my patients, I don't come with any preconceived ideas. I come to get you well and get you to the best wellness that I can do.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, when we talk about the Affordable Care Act, many of course have phrased that to be Obamacare. And at the source of that, Ms. Benson specifically, how has the removal of Obamacare, if you will, how has that impacted those that are insured through the Alabama marketplace?
Well, it hasn't been removed as of yet. And
Okay. Well, that's a
God
good
willing,
thing,
it will
right?
not be removed. Quality of Life has certified application counselors, and we worked and we helped over 1,000 individuals obtain health insurance. Probably about 60% of those individuals had not had any type of health insurance before, but was able to secure insurance through the marketplace. If affordable health care is removed, the upside to it is that with Quality of Life or in that Susan E. Allen Health Center, they will still be able to be seen because we offer a sliding fee program. And I do want to add that we don't just serve the underserved, we do serve the insured, and we accept most Alabama insurances.
So when you talk about sliding, you said sliding fee scale. What exactly does that mean? Break that down for me.
We take a look at the household income, and it's in line with the federal poverty level, and then we base our charges on the availability or affordability within that household.
Okay, so there is some level of exchange of monies, if you will, for the services rendered.
Yes.
Okay, but it is based on household income.
Yes, for those who don't have insurance.
For those who don't, okay, that's beautiful. And I think that's important for our viewership to understand the significance of, because a lot of times, you know, we put off what we think we can't afford.
Absolutely.
You know, and knowledge is power in these kinds of situations, because if you know, okay, I've got an ingrown toenail, and I can base what level of exchange of monies I need to base that services rendered off of exactly what my household income is, if I don't in essence have the level of insurance to match. Is that accurately stated in some respect? Okay, beautiful. Now, I understand we've got a dentist in the midst, Dr. Petit.
Yep.
Glad that you're here. What do you need to do to become a dental patient?
Walk in the door.
That's
The requirements for coming into the health center to be a dental patient, we need your proof of income,
Okay.
proof of residency, and there is a surcharge, a fee for your appointment. So if you bring your proof of income and your proof of residency, that helps us figure out where you're going to fall on that sliding fee scale if you are underinsured or have no insurance. So I see a lot of patients who don't have insurance, who are self-pay, that fall into that scale. Most of my patients have not been to the dentist in years, if ever. I see a lot of people coming in pain because, like you were saying, they figure I can't afford to go to the dentist, so I'm just not going to go until I have an abscess or until a tooth breaks or I'm in pain, and that's when I see them. I'm happy to take care of people who are in pain. It's easier for me to do preventative care.
Definitely.
So if you come to see me before you are in pain, it's better. But I'm definitely there to help get you out of pain. It may not be the procedure that you want. I have a lot of people to come in and just knock me out and take my tooth out. That's not always the ideal. That's not always what we can do in that moment, but we try and definitely work with our patients and let them know that we are there for your overall oral health. We're not just here to be your pain management company. We are here to help get you to oral health, and that goes back to being a medical home. Your mouth is still a part of your body. It's not outside of your body. So it's the beginning of your digestive tract. So if you are having tooth pain, you're going to have trouble eating. You might have trouble sleeping. Blood pressure affects it. Lupus, the patient that she has, I have a patient that has lupus that has to deal with some dental issues on top of that. So the fact that if I have a patient whose blood pressure is sky high, I can say, we need you to go next door for screening. Or if someone is saying to me, they told me I was diabetic, but I never got medication. Okay, we're going to send you next door so we can get that looked at. Dentistry is not a separate entity from healthcare. It is a part of healthcare. So we just want to make sure that everyone knows when you walk in the door, whether you're going to see Ms. McGuego or whether you're coming to see me, we're going to be cross-talking and making sure that you are completely taken care of, mind, body, and spirit, not just...
I like that concept, mind, body, and spirit. I think that speaks volumes to what we need to know in terms of the overall health care of an individual. Because I think it's, in a lot of practices I've seen, you've got the referral system, but you've got the referral system in-house. Yes. Everything working in tandem, records not having to be transferred from miles away. It's right here within the confines of Susie E. Allen. So that's the beauty in it all. I think it's important as we continue to understand the significance of healthcare in our society. I think growing up, and I was probably one of those that were fortunate enough to have family members who understood the significance early on of preventative healthcare. And even into my adulthood, it's carried over that, it's just become common knowledge, for me at least, I need to see my dentist twice a year. I need to see my primary care physician twice a year. And I think in a lot of instances, we have individuals who really don't live off of that mantra. And I think it's important to know that with your services, it's not a horror story of sorts. Just as with individuals going to seek, the services that they need for their vehicles. That same analogy should also apply to our bodies. And I continue to hear the old adage that our bodies are our temples. And just like a vehicle, if you don't take care of the oil change and everything else that runs with keeping that vehicle, the same thing happens with the burnout with our body. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you all offer the services that you do offer within your operations. I guess as it relates to Quality of Life Health Services, your parent company, Obviously, your services are right here within our midst. When you talked about the various locations that you all have, are they primarily just within the state of Alabama, or do you work within other states as well?
Our organization is in Alabama.
Primarily, fantastic, and I think that has its place.
Yeah.
Obviously, has its place to know that you are homegrown, Gaston, Alabama, and that you're servicing areas right here within the Phoenix City area. I think it's very beautiful. Has there been anything that I may have omitted in terms of your operations overall and your services?
You didn't omit, but I do want to make sure that our viewers know that we also provide behavioral health services.
Okay.
We have pharmacies in 5 of our health centers. So we have a prescription assistance program. Podiatry was mentioned earlier. We don't necessarily have a podiatrist here in Phoenix City, but through our telemedicine program, an individual can communicate and be treated by our podiatry at a distance through telehealth.
How about chiropractic services? Anything related to that? I mean, is that part of the wellness operations that you offer as well, in any shape, form, or fashion?
Not in-house.
Not in-house,
We
okay.
refer out.
Okay, gotcha. I just happened from my past to have been with an organization that offered massage services, and I know that that's become a big concept as it relates to health and wellness. But it's good to know the services that you do offer, so that our viewership can totally understand what they can take advantage of as it relates to what you do. If individuals need to get in contact with you, what's the best source of information to find out about you? And what are your operating hours?
8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And they can, we have a website. You can go on the qolhs.org
Okay.
and pull us up, and you can see all of our locations throughout the state and the listing of our providers, physicians that are within each of those locations throughout the state.
Are walk-ins welcome, or do appointments you require services by appointment? How does that operate?
Walk-ins are welcome.
Okay.
And of course, appointments are always preferred,
Okay.
but we do take walk-ins.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, as it relates to, I guess, cost, I think our viewership always likes to hear the bottom line. Cut to the chase and tell me what kind of rates can one expect. And again, these are just estimates, if you will. Dr. Petit, as it relates to dental services, if I'm coming in just for an average cleaning, what kind of rates can I expect to pay for someone who may be in that underserved population, if you will?
Well, again, it's going to depend on where you fall on the scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a $45 fee for the appointment, but again, that is going to be dependent on your financial situation and what you may need. So I couldn't give you a rough estimate like, oh, it's going to be $20. And then everybody's coming in like, oh, I thought I'd get a $20 cleaning. I'm not going to give you those kind of numbers, but you can come in and like Ms. Benson said, if you have insurance, great.
Wonderful.
We'll take your insurance and we'll charge your insurance.
Exactly.
And if your insurance covers your cleanings, then your insurance covers your cleanings. But I don't want people to feel like, oh, I can't go there because I won't be able to afford it. You have to come in. You have to bring your proof of income. Bring your proof of income. Bring your proof of income.
She said that 3 or 4 times. Bring your proof of income. I think that's important. Yes.
Right. Because a lot of times people don't, and then they might have charges that they are unable to pay because they were not able to get put on that sliding fee scale because we did not have their household income numbers.
Well, I think that's important that you bring that out, because I think in every situation, individuals need to know that there are some prerequisites that they are accountable for themselves to be able to get said services. So thank you for reiterating that, because I think it's so important that you understand, okay, granted, while walk-ins are welcome, appointments preferred, you want to make certain that you have the necessary documentation to make certain that you can also receive the services, whatever the ailment may be. Or if it's in a situation just to do preventative care, it's necessary that our viewership understand the significance of having documentation in hand to make certain that they can move swiftly through the process.
And I will say, our patient service representatives who answer the phone, they are consistent in explaining to people when they call, potential patients, and even patients who may have been and need to recertify, that these are the things that are going to be required of you when you come in.
Awesome.
Tell them every phone call, you want to make an appointment? Great. Here are the things you're going to need. When you get the reminder call, great. Come in. We'll see you tomorrow. Here are the things you're going to need.
Sure.
And if you forget them, they remind you, you have this amount of time to get those things back to us so that we can figure out where you fall on our scale.
Communication is so vital, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, if we're not communicating amongst ourselves, and especially to our patients, because it's necessary to know what those requirements are. Ms. Benson, you touched on the area of behavioral health. Can you break that down for me specifically when we talk about behavioral health? Because what comes to mind, or my mind at least, is we talk about the mental state of an individual. Am I close on the surface when we talk about behavioral health?
I'd like to pass that
Sure,
question
please.
on to the doctor.
To the doctor, okay.
You're right, my definition.
Touching on Dr. Batit's mind, body, and spirit, yes, behavioral health not necessarily mean that anything's wrong. We offer services where patients could be depressed and they need someone to talk to. We have that service, which we do to telemedicine, that they can talk to someone if in need. A lot of the patients don't know what they have, so when they come in and see us and we screen them, there are things that we have in tools, we can pull things out of them, and we automatically get them a referral, and it's in home, and within a few days they get to speak to someone and they can get what they need addressed, and it's a wonderful, wonderful tool.
So are we talking psychiatric?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Psychiatric, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. This is awesome. Southern Business Networkers, you've heard it right here on the Southern Business Network. We've got some lovely ladies right here from the Susie, let me get that right, the Susie E. Allen Health Center, located right here, 1502 11th Avenue, right here in Phoenix City, Alabama. You can check the website again, please.
QOLHS.org.
Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure having you right here. First episode of the new year, 2018, right here on the Southern Business Network. Is there anything that I may have missed?
Yes, we have another provider, our primary doctor, Dr. Culliver O'Neill Culliver. He's the MD on site at the facility, and he's in our other office in Tuskegee, Alabama, but he's there 3 days out of the week also.
Okay.
So there's two of us there during the week also.
Fantastic. Operating hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Any opportunities for weekends?
Depending on the need.
Depending on the need.
Correct.
Fantastic.
We do
Well, that's
have
also
some
good.
locations where we do stay open later in the evening and on the weekend.
Okay.
And I do want to mention, especially to our schools, our principals and our superintendents, we have a mobile unit. And we can bring our mobile unit to the school, provide medical, dental, and vision services directly at the school. That way it allows the students to stay in the classroom or stay in school, and allows parents to stay on the job.
I think that's a beautiful note to make. Mobile services, in essence, we bring health services right to your doorstep. I think that's a beautiful concept to have, especially for individuals who don't have the wherewithal to get out and possibly have travel to get to your operations. I think that's another one of those things that sets you apart from the herd when we relate to doing business. So it's been a pleasure having you all right here on the Southern Business Network. Southern Business Networkers, if you need to get some information about your services, please feel free to give me a call. This is Eric Fowler, your host, 706-718-9752, or you can email me at Fowler_Enterprises@yahoo.com. Stay tuned for another episode of this network. You've heard it right here, the Southern Business Network, East Alabama's premier show for social and civic organizations as well as small businesses. Until we meet again, you all take care.